All right, so the Lamborghini still has an error code. It says it's got the transmission fault code, not good, which basically means we need a tool specially designed to program this car, and it's very expensive. So luckily we have a shop here in Raleigh, North Carolina called Carolina Exotics. They've got the special tool that'll reprogram this car. So we're gonna head there now and hope we can make it without breaking anything. Despite the code, the car's driving like it always does. Hopefully it's fine, but we're going to be very careful taking it there, and fingers crossed we don't have any kind of crazy issues along the way. Oh my god, yeah, I'm not driving through that. Oh my gosh, that's disgusting. Yeah, we're not going down that road. Not in a Lamborghini. Let's go back to the garage while we wait to see what the fate of the Lambo is. All right, so as you've seen in past videos, we're always using the Ranger to get something unstuck and even to jumpstart an excavator. But it's time that we pay a little attention to it and fix a couple of things. So there's a couple of things going on. Every now and then I have to top it up with coolant a little bit, so that's not good. Coolant's clearly going somewhere. And every couple of months, the brake light comes on and it needs a little bit of brake fluid. So that's really not good. It's leaking a bit of brake fluid somewhere. So we're gonna open the hood and see if we can figure out where those fluids are going. All right, so now that I've got the hood up, I can really smell coolant. So I'm definitely close to where the leak is. And I just peered over here and I can see down here that my exhaust manifold, the top of it is all wet. So the coolant is clearly dripping on it. I can actually see it dripping right now. And there's these coolant lines running right above it. And if you look closely, you can see the bottom of this plastic is dripping with coolant. So this little valve here, which is what opens up our heater core inside of the cabin, that gets us heat. This piece of plastic is leaking somewhere, so I need a new one of these. All right, so now I'm gonna climb under the Ranger and look at the brake lines and their fittings and see if I can see anything that's wet, showing where the brake fluid's coming out. All right, so now I'm looking at the back of this rear drum brake, and this is all wet and oily, and I'm suspecting this is where the brake fluid is leaking from. So let's pull this wheel off and take a closer look. Always remember to use your jack stand. Well, if you look in here, this is all oily. This is it's called a wheel cylinder. It's a hydraulic device that actually spreads apart and pushes these brake shoes out, which open up inside of this, which is called the drum, and stops your car because it works with friction. See all that? There's my brake fluid disappearing. If you see that shiny fluid pouring out right there, you can see all that shiny fluid pouring out. That's my brake fluid. All right, now it's time to go buy the parts I need, and I'll be right back. While I was out getting parts, I decided to check in on how the Lamborghini is coming along. The guys here at Carolina Exotics have a tool that costs well over $10,000 to be able to diagnose and check the codes on these insane supercars. So is this the $1 million tool right here?
No, this is the Alto.
Okay.
The expensive scan tool, the Leonardo, I'm pretty sure it doesn't do Lamborghini. I'm pretty sure. I think it's mostly Ferraris that one does.
I see.
Ferraris and Maserati.
So you can program this with more generic tools?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, this thing did the same thing last time it was here. The battery was disconnected, and then the transmission was just shifting fine, but it just has a fault code for it.
Interesting things happen to these European cars.
Yeah.
What's the trim on this?
It's an S. misfire. Oh yeah, look at that. Interesting. Good to know. So we came here to fix the transmission and we found another problem it has. It has a cylinder 5 misfire, which means the engine's not running right. So finding more problems than fixing them. All right, so Grace is here visiting the team at our house, and she was driving past the construction at the guest house and she got a flat. She just drove the car all the way up to the main house, so I'm gonna go up there, take the wheel off, and see if we can patch it. Let's get going. All right, so she has got one heck of a flat here. I'm gonna hop in and roll it forward just enough for me to get a jack under it, and we'll pull the wheel off. That's not good. Not good. I want to pull it forward as little as I have to, but I still have to get a jack under it. Let's try it out. Here, this is a great reason to order that kit. There we go. We got it. Oh yeah, that would cause an air leak. Now I've got it high enough that I got the wheel off the ground so you can spin. Now I got to get this cover off. And it exposes like a regular looking wheel. There's this one screw here. The guest house probably has so many screws in the driveway right now, unfortunately. It looks like that may be our only damage. So when you're patching tires, if you get any damage here or on the other side here, you can't fix it. But if you get damage here, a lot of times you can fix it. And in this case, looks like our only damage is right there, so that's gonna be really easy to fix. So let's put this in the truck and go patch it. All right, so now I'm back from the parts store. I've got my new parts. Here is the plastic valve that's leaking coolant, new one of those. And here is the wheel cylinder that's leaking the brake fluid at the back. Now let's put them on. So there's not a lot to changing this valve. It's really just disconnect these heater hoses and this vacuum line, and it just pops out. It's that simple. It's just important to keep track of what hose went where. So for that, I typically take a picture that just shows where everything goes, and I can reference it later when I totally forget what went where. Now when I pull these lines off, some coolant's gonna go all over the floor, but that's all right. We'll clean it up later. And that's that. Old valves removed. Now we just put the new one in. The next step is to just make sure that I did put the hoses on properly, and I did. Perfect. So now the next step is to put these hose clamps back on, and it's all done. Perfect. Now that's fixed. All we have to do is bleed the air out of the cooling system and we're done. Okay, let's do this. So it looks like I may just be able to unscrew that. Yeah, I don't know if that's what was causing it. Put some air in it and see where it's all coming out. Sure enough, that's where it's coming out right there. Let me grab my tire patch kit. So you start by making the hole way worse. We grab our patch, which are these little orange worm-looking things. Put it in this little tool, and you just shove it into the hole. Oh man, it's always a little hard when there's no air in it. Let's put some air in it now. Give me a little bit to push back. Oh man. Let's see if that's good. Nope. Let me make that hole just a little bigger. Here we go. You don't want to push it too far, and then you just want to pop. There you go. So for a Tesla Model Y, it wants the tires a bit 42 psi, so gotta pump it up. There you go, 42 psi. Final step, we check that we fixed the leak. I'll just spray some soapy water on it. If it doesn't bubble, we're good. Looks good. Time to go put it back on the car. Last step is to torque the lug nuts to spec, which in this case is 129 foot-pounds. Now the actual last step. We'll put the wheel cover back on. All right, all fixed. Okay, so I finally have the tool I need. These are called line wrenches. They've got this little opening on them so they can go around the little flare nut on the line. And if you look here, see how this goes over the brake line, and we can use it to loosen it off. Okay, so this isn't really coming off. I was hoping it would. It's just kind of stuck, so I sprayed it with some PB Blaster, and I'm gonna try and use a torch on this nut here to see if we can get it to loosen up. Now you've got to be careful when using a torch on bolts that you're not going to get anything that shouldn't get hot. Which in this case, this wheel cylinder probably shouldn't get hot, but we're already replacing that, so we don't really care about that right now. Okay, so now I'm going to try and loosen this up again. Come in here with the vice grips, and you can see we've got it loose now. Thank goodness. Now our brake line comes out, and I just have to remove these two bolts, which will take off the wheel cylinder right here. Okay, this thing's a little stuck on there. I brought a little encouragement with me. There we go. One crusty old wheel cylinder out. One nice fresh one to go in. Just clean up this area a little bit more. Okay, and this guy just goes right back in. Right where the old one was. And now it's the reverse of everything we just did. Okay, so this is basically a pump that's going to draw the air out of our newly installed wheel cylinder, because if you have air in your system, your brakes are not going to work properly. So using this, we're going to get that air out. All right, all the air is out of the system. All that's left, put the wheels back on, get the car back on the ground. I got you. So you're saying to just kind of give it a little test drive and see if it comes back. Hopefully it doesn't. Yeah, I remember it would. The code would come on as soon as you start the car too. So it may be gone now. I don't see it in there anymore.
Yeah, a lot of times when a battery dies or you got low voltage, it just causes a bunch of stuff to wig out.
Right, yeah, exactly. All right, so we might be fixed. We've got no codes left, so we're gonna test drive it and see if it's all good to go now. I think it's fixed. It's driving great, just as usual. There's no codes. We're fixed. Time to take it back to the Team RAR house. All right, so we're back at the Team RAR house with the Lambo. The last time we had this thing fixed, it cost us $5,000 just to put a new battery in it. And this time, it cost us nothing. It was absolutely free because I did the battery myself. And thanks to the guys at Carolina Exotics for getting it programmed. And thank you for watching this video. And make sure you check out this video right here when we originally found out something was wrong.